Hey you crazy ankle-biting beatniks! Time to put away your poodle skirts, Davy Crockett hats, and hula hoops. Go grab your magic windows and crayons and cast an eyeball towards your zenith. Because today we're taking a trip back to the 50s to look at the origin of interactive television. It's Winky Dink You on this week's radioactive episode of Texaco Star Theater. Daddy-o.
I've been asked to tell you about television, so I'll trim the philosophizing. Television is most certainly here to stay.
The history of television goes as far back as the late 20s, but it wasn't until the 1950s when adoption rate of television really hit its stride. In 1948, less than 0.5% of homes in America had a television set. 6 years later, that number would jump to over half of American households. Television was in its golden age, expanding furiously in both reach and content. Also expanding was its new audience, as the post-war baby boom meant an abundance of young viewers to which programming, and of course advertising, could be targeted.
I wouldn't be without my Bonomo's turkey staffy.
Meanwhile, Harry Pritchett Sr., a graphic artist, was spending his days working for an ad agency, troubleshooting overscan issues plaguing some television commercials. With a sheet of safety film affixed to a television and the aid of a grease pencil, Pritchett would sketch on the screen to root out the problem. It wasn't long before he saw the potential for an exciting new way to interact with the images on the television. He brought the idea to writer Edward Britt Wyckoff, and after what I could imagine was hours of testing that may or may not have involved drawing rather rude images all over William Frawley, the two decided that this activity may appeal to children, and thus Winky Dink was born. Pritchett and Wyckoff initially had some trouble selling their idea, but hit pay dirt when they brought their little star-headed friend to Jack Barry and Dan Enright of Barry and Enright Productions. The duo has some experience with children's television, as demonstrated by their successful radio and television series, Juvenile Jury, which Barry also hosted. Winky Dink You premiered on Saturday, October 10th, 1953 at 10 a.m. Once again, Jack Barry would serve as host, interacting with Winky and instructing children on the use of their magic windows. Winky himself was voiced by Mae Questel, which is precisely why he sounds like Betty Boop. Also appearing on the show in later years was voice actor and all-around funny man Dayton Allen. Most famously known for his work on Howdy Doody and The Steve Allen Show, here he appeared as Mr. Bungle, Barry's inept assistant.
Watch the birdie now.
What are you doing, Winky? Taking pictures?
Would you like me to take your picture, huh?
The animation of Winky Dink was delightfully simplistic. Ed Wyckoff brought the character to life with the aid of tweezers, numerous Winky Dink parts, and a film strip projector.
Stand there.
Here?
Jack Barry's interactions with Winky would serve as a segue to the game portion of the show, at which time the boys and girls at home were instructed to break out their Winky Dink kits, assuming they had one.
Well, boys and girls, it's time for us to get down to business. The business of playing Winky Dink.
There were two variations of the Winky Dink kit. The regular kit was available by mailing 50 cents to an address in New York City, and Jack Barry was all too eager to remind viewers of this a couple of times per episode. In exchange for their 4 bits, kids would receive a magic window to affix to the television, some special crayons, and a wiping cloth. There was also a deluxe kit available in toy stores for $2.95, which came with more crayons and additional goodies, all packaged in an attractive box. With the tinted plastic placed over the display, viewers can draw images over the screen to help Winky or one of his cartoon sidekicks solve whatever problem they were facing.
Now let's draw the pipe in the captain's mouth.
And make it a good pipe too, kid.
That's right. The boys and girls who have their Winky Dink kits will give you a nice green pipe.
There were also various connected dot puzzles, secret messages, and additional diversions presented throughout the show that ensured the magic window was well utilized. In an effort to cultivate sharing and cooperation, Barry would encourage viewers to invite friends over and distribute the crayons, assigning certain activities to whomever was holding a specific color.
You must share your Winky Dink kits. Right now, I want you to split up your crayons. Okay? One of you take the black and the red, and the other take the yellow and the green.
Watching Winky Dink You without the kit appears to have been quite boring, as there was absolutely no concession made for children who didn't have one. Most segments assumed there was a drawing on the viewer's end and would make little sense otherwise. It goes without saying that the lack of a flimsy piece of plastic wasn't going to keep some children from playing along, as many parents whose expensive television screens were defaced by crayons and markers soon realized.
Now what I want you to do is take your magic red crayon and put it right up against my finger. Would you do that? right here. Okay? You ready to follow me now? I'm going to go slowly and draw a line across here. And you come right along with me, okay? That's fine. This is going to be a nicest automobile, and we're going to have a swell trip. You following right along with me, boys and girls? That's right, all the way up to the top now. That's right. Gee, I think you're doing a fine job. And go right around here. That's right. One circle there. And one other thing, you might put a little circle in here for a horn. Edgar needs a horn, right in here. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, Winko! And here we are at Edgar's garage. Oh, we forgot to open the garage door for Edgar. He continued across the road, knocking over a telegraph pole that was in his way. But it still wasn't fast enough for him. He thought that maybe if he had roller skates, he'd be able to go faster. Let's see if it works, boys and girls. Get your black crayons out, come on up to the magic window, and draw a roller skate on each wheel.
At its peak, Winky Dink You was receiving 25,000 kit requests per week. Furthermore, there was a line of Winky Dink branded merchandise, such as books, puzzles, and records available for purchase. According to Jack Barry, however, the program did not bring in the stellar ratings enjoyed by other kiddie shows at the time. By 1956, Barry and Enright would graduate to primetime with their wildly popular and soon-to-be infamous quiz show, 21. And on April 27, 1957, Winky Dink You aired its last interactive adventure. Winky Dink would see a revival in 1969 with a production of 65 brand new 5-minute episodes, without involvement from Barry Enright nor the original creators. Now voiced by Lionel G. Wilson, the only thing the new Winky Dink had in common with the 1950s incarnation was the name and the theme song. The design and animation was much cleaner and presented without any interference from live actors. And of course, a brand new Winky Dink kit was made available for purchase.
He doesn't sound like a real sea serpent. Come on, boys and girls. It's time for us to go into action. First, take your magic crayon and draw a line around King Kookie's nose. Trace all around it. Yay! Oh, that tickles. You got it, gang? Now, use the same crayon and draw a line around that button on the king's coat. Make it nice and round. Good. That's the way. Now we'll see about that nasty sea serpent. All aboard! Hold tight, boys and girls.
Hey, cut that out!
For many parents, the ill effects, real or perceived, from their kids sitting so close to the radiation-spewing television screen was of utmost concern. This has often been cited as one of the reasons for Winky Dink You's eventual demise. Although the show is often overlooked when the subject of early children's television comes up at dinner parties, Winky Dink You's influence on the idea of TV interactivity cannot be overstated. More recent programs aimed at the preschool set, like Blue's Clues and Dora the Explorer, invite children to solve the riddles presented on screen while the characters appear to wait patiently for the answer. The idea that children could participate in, rather than passively watch, televised entertainment is very much what Winky Dink strive for, except this time without the TV vandalism. Co-creator Harry Pritchett Sr. had no other credits of note after the original run of Winky Dink You ceased production in 1957. He continued his work as an art director and executive with various agencies and then later for IBM. He passed away in 2000 at the age of 79. Harry's creative partner, Edwin Brent Wyckoff, likewise remained elusive in the television industry, though he has authored several biographies on a wide variety of interesting subjects, including, appropriately enough, Philo T. Farnsworth and Ralph Baer. Other than that, not much information was available on his current whereabouts as of the filming of this episode. Mae Questel, the voice of 1950s Winky Dink, would continue lending her voice to Betty Boop and Olive Oyl in various capacities, including the former's brief cameo in 1988's Who Framed Roger Rabbit. In 1989, Questel would turn in a memorable performance as the Griswolds' doddering Aunt Bethany in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, her final on-screen role. Mae Questel passed away in 1998 at the age of 89. Lionel G. Wilson, voice of the 1969 Winky Dink, enjoyed a long career as a voice actor, having lent his talents to numerous projects before and since Winky Dink You. He was best remembered as the original voice of Eustace Bagg in Courage the Cowardly Dog. He passed away in 2003 at the age of 79. Host Jack Barry, along with his partner Dan Enright, would find themselves involved in a national scandal by the end of the 50s. It had been revealed that contestants on their wildly popular quiz show, 21, were fed answers ahead of time. The ensuing fallout kept the duo off American airwaves for some time until the 1970s, when The Joke Is Wild, once again hosted by Jack Barry during both the original CBS run and a later syndicated run, proved to be a success with audiences. In an interesting note, Jack Barry would find his career come full circle as he would also serve as MC of a once-weekly children's version of The Joke Is Wild, entitled that aired from 1979 to 1981. Barry died of a cardiac arrest during a routine morning jog in 1984 at the age of 66. Dan Enright would continue running Barry and Enright Productions after his partner's death. While attempts were made with Bumper Stumpers, a joint venture with Wink Martindale Productions, and a short-lived revival of Tic-Tac-Toe, the production company found itself bereft of any significant success since The Joke Is Wild. Dan Enright died of cancer in 1992 at the age of 74. As for Winky Dink himself, further endeavors to bring the helpful lad back to television, including a Disney Channel version that would have aired in the late 80s, went nowhere. However, Winky did make the jump to home video in the 90s with the release of a new Winky Dink kit that included the requisite magic screen, crayons, erasing cloth, and a VHS of select episodes from the 1969 version. And as of the filming of this episode, Rembrandt Films has a new run of Winky Dink kits available for purchase from their website, this time packaged alongside the DVD. I should warn anyone looking to recreate the experience of yesteryear against using those aforementioned kits with modern flat panel displays. They were originally intended for the stronger glass found on old tube TVs. Not to mention, the magic screens likely won't fill the entire width of the display, which may lead to stray marks over unprotected portions. If you want to play along with Winky Dink, I recommend doing so on a small CRT television. This was Dave for TeeVee Games. Please affix your magic windows and draw the words like, comment, and subscribe in big red letters right now where I'm pointing. Now erase them before the end credits. And see you next time.
Winky Dink and you, Winky Dink and me, always have a lot of fun together. Winky Dink and you, Winky Dink and me, we are pals in fair or stormy weather. All the kids who heard Winky's magic word make a wish and then they all shall winko. What a big surprise right before their eyes. Wishes do come true from saying winko.